can't make it here today. The people who are in Australia or London and really couldn't make it right there. It's 12 o'clock for them. And I think much later for some. If you're just joining now, we're getting started. All right, let's get right into this. I do AEON because I care. I maintain it because I like talking to the people in this guild. I like kicking ass in EC and Arma when I can. But right now, AEON isn't in its best of shapes. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Myself, certain aspects, and that's what I'd like to talk about, as well as steps that have been taken recently, as well as that will be taken tonight. This involves everyone who wants to be an AEON, everyone who wants to be a part of this community, and I hope people want to keep being part of this place. But there are things we do need to talk about in order to move on. So, Sir Karvik, if you can mute your mic, please.
Yep, sorry.
Thank you. There are three things I'd like to start to talk about. The first has to do with just activity, right? We've had two obvious problems with activity at the moment, things that have been recurring over time, and it's just piled up. Accounts mainly for initiates on Discord who have come on, stayed with us for a week or two, and never showed up after that except for maybe the odd single weekly meme or odd comment in the general. We're glad that they try, but for the community's health and morale, it's not exactly the greatest thing to have the Discord pile up an online membership and see maybe 2-3 people in the chats. I want this place to be a living Discord, and those kinds of things are honestly dead weight. As a first round of activity purging, we've kicked 65 accounts from the Discord within the past 24 hours. 65. Of the 65, we've only made 2 mistakes. Those 2 mistakes being Narcissian and Pyro Elves. And if Narcissian is in here, and Pyro, if you end up listening to the recording, I apologize for that. A second round of Discord purging will be occurring tonight or the following morning. For those once every 2-week contributors that we haven't gotten to, and the Battle Brothers who don't show up anymore, those are the people we're looking at. Additionally, if anyone has someone they would want kicked, now is the time to message me privately, and anyone who receives more than 5-6 votes will most likely be kicked. With valid reason, and I'm sure a lot of you here can already think of 1 or 2 people in particular who may be already in consideration for that. But at least for the bulk of the dead activity weight, a lot of that's gone. As far as stasis goes, Rogel, to answer your question, because it is perfectly valid, I'm not sure what to do with that yet. For Narcissian and Pyro Elf situation, they should have been put into stasis, but for some reason they weren't. I'll take that blame myself. That's my fault. I should have done that. As far as current people in stasis, I've reached out to them, and if there's no response after 2-3 times, I remove them. Everyone here who's gone through the Battle Brother process knows the war cry, right? And one thing I tell everyone is, if you're gone for 5 days, 5 months, or 5 years, as long as you remember the war cry, if and when you want to come back, we'll accept you back with open arms, back as a Battle Brother. So, if we do end up kicking anyone by mistake, or we kick someone and they decide they want to come back later, that door is open to them. So, stasis is there to safeguard those of us that are planning on coming back in a set amount of time. And for those who overextend and we aren't able to reach, we remove them from stasis altogether. Hopefully that answers your question, bro. And that's as much about activity as I would like to discuss. The second problem, and the big one, and this is the one I'm going to ask everyone to be patient on, is what I call the bleeding discords. Fallen Wardens will be for it, the Armored TeamSpeak. I'll touch on the Armored TeamSpeak separately because it's not a bad thing. Will be for it not as much, but Fallen Wardens as well, is not healthy for AEON, for two reasons. It takes away activity from people who may still consider themselves members, and more importantly, when people have a problem with AEON, they don't bring it up in AEON. Whenever someone brings a community problem to my attention, and anyone who's brought something to me, I've dealt with as efficiently and as soon as possible. But if it's a problem with trust or a simple case of being timid, problems that have been relayed to me that people discuss in these chats, no one has come to me with them. If you tell another member of the guild of a problem, it won't magically, reach my ears. And I want to hear about them. I want to be able to fix and make this place worthy of everyone's time. But I need people to come to me and talk. And I want to have those discussions. If I can't talk to you guys about this, if no one's willing to take that step forward to come to me, I can't change anything with a blind eye. To the one female member who joined this guild and was told to be petted because girls and guilds are rare, to the people who told said individual to be petted, shame on you. That is horrible behavior. If I knew who did that, they honestly probably wouldn't be in the guild right now. But for those of you who have forgotten the last tenet of the war cry, it's justice. Being held to a higher standard than your average person. And that should be a reminder to be a gentleman, not a 13-year-old horny toad. Gray came to me and told me he wanted to close Fallen Wardens to help AEON. For that, thank you.
I sense the blood of the foe.
And for those of you in Fallen Wardens who are considering coming back, or otherwise, I would just be happy being given the opportunity to earn your trust back again. And if the problems persist, aforementioned or otherwise, please, I encourage you to come talk to me. I don't bite. I'm pretty fucking retarded when I'm not serious about shit. But when it comes to matters that affect your happiness in AEON, I do care. 100%. Otherwise, this guild meeting wouldn't be happening. But for Fallen Wardens to be closing, we'll be for it to be closing. It helps a lot. And hopefully we'll see more people willing to come back here. And chat. Now to talk about the Armored TeamSpeak. In the beginning, I said that I care, and I do this because I care and it's true. But sometimes I just want to chill and relax and be able to talk like everybody else, right? The people who are currently in the ARMA Discord or the ARMA TeamSpeak comprise some of our oldest members, people I've known since day one of AEON. And this is just me saying that sometimes I wish I could talk to you guys. And I'm pretty damn sure I'm not the only one who feels that. Because even if you guys aren't in Discord as much, right, and are still playing and part of AEON, right, no homo, but we miss you. It's as simple as that. Doge has made an effort, and kudos for you. I've seen that I've heard people talk about it, so thank you there. But yeah, it's not that you guys aren't on, right? But it's not just me either. Besides, I don't want to call names here. I won't be calling names here. I will never call names. But we miss you folks. So even if it's just sitting in the ARMA box and keeping your mics muted, and granted for everyone here, if you see them in the ARMA box and their mics are muted, don't yell and say, hey, get your asses on, because chances are they're doing something in ARMA. Because ARMA is a very tactical game. But likewise, right? It's a working relationship. So that's as much as I'll say about the ARMA TeamSpeak. But as far as Torstein for paying for the TeamSpeak server and maintaining the ARMA servers, kudos to you and good job. That is fantastic work. The third and final initial problem that I want to touch on here is the Senate. Right. I set up the Senate because I honestly believed I wouldn't be here talking to you all. That I would be 6 feet under somewhere and this place would have moved on and become whatever. But since it's been built, I'm sorry to say that most senators haven't been doing their jobs. Senator Vigoff is the only one I want to thank for trying to keep things afloat and being a true battle when it comes to completing his duties. For that, you have my sincere thanks. But one person doing their job isn't enough to keep the Senate. I've talked to a lot of people, and I think it's safe to say that a majority of this guild has expressed a certain amount of dissatisfaction with the Senate and its operations. So, today we dissolve it. As to what will be replacing it,
I'm here.
we're most likely...
Mute your mic and shut up.
Uh-oh.
For what we'll be replacing it with, most likely an older version of AEON that's leadership scheme worked. One that people were happy with and that we can start doing things with again. And something simple, easy to understand, nothing convoluted. But as far as the Senate goes, I think that Vigoff is the only one who's earned the right to say, I am the Senate. So, yeah. To the other senators, Jolio, Pesanius, Akenroth, it's not a judge of character or a judge of your leadership abilities, but in terms of what has transpired, it wasn't enough. Pesanius, and to me it applies as well. we didn't do enough. So, to recap, Purge. We've dropped 65 people in the past 24 hours. I'm expecting to drop another 20, not including the Friends of the Guilds that's piling up and the people in stasis. 2, the Bleeding Disciplines. Fallen Wardens will be for you. We'll, thankfully, to AEON and hopefully for the better for our future together, we'll be close. Once again, thank you, Drunk. Thank you, Pesanius, and thank you, Gray, for coming forward first, willing to do this. Because if I hadn't known about your intentions, this conversation would have gone wildly different.
No, we hunt. In darkness we serve.
And finally, the Senate, which everyone was here for that. The one other thing I do want to say is the grand companies, those remnant chats from an old system that are still used by the most autistic and most hermit-like, yeah, I said it, people in the grand first company and grand second company. Based on those chats' inactivity, and on the fact that those are many communities that don't help either, we'll be officially dissolving what's left of the first and second companies. If anyone has any questions to be asked, or that they would like clarification on, or any other points they would like addressed right now, please use the questions chat, which should be right above the general and text channels, to write your questions. But I'm calling everyone here because this is really something that I think needed to be said. Because before this conversation, we have how many people here? 30, 40 people? 10, 15 at a time. But yes, please keep this chat serious. Archmagos, Lockhart, we are on AEON's 5th version. So that's one. Drugs, are we still autistic enough? God damn it. Age limit for the Guild Doge. Our average member gap here is 17 to 24. We've maybe 2, 3 exceptions that go below that, but I would try and keep it above that. Akenroth. Oh, Vigoth's, will my bill be null as well? Most likely. For those wondering what he's talking about, Bill, Vigoth had taken the time to write up a mock codex. Mock's codex for this guild and its Senate system, as well as a few tidbits people wanted addressed. The tidbits will continue to be addressed, but the codex most likely will be gone. Akenroth, quite simple. Promoting activity and not being retarded in times. If anything, by name, Vigoth was the one people were proud of in the Senate. And it's like I said, it's not that there was a lack of character. but a lack of general things being done. If, say, those 65 people had been purged by the Senate, or had been looked at individually, or not left up to the next guy and next guy, or the Senate had taken it upon themselves to see that Battle Brothers weren't coming in, but were still showing online, and ask why. Asking why is a big one. And it seems that no one did. When it's obvious to say it was the most important thing. Seabass, will we be refounding our company system from the early days of AEON? Company systems, maybe not. But if there is a need for any official separation of things, it'll be on a per game basis. Or on those that would rather not attach themselves to a game. Tantanius.
Present.
There is one issue with recruiting I'd like to bring up. We have initiates that don't even know the basics of games they're playing. Yeah. If we want people to officially train others, if that's an issue that Battle Brothers think that in their time that they weren't taught properly as an initiate, or they needed help when they couldn't have some, or initiates want certain direction, yeah, we can. I don't think there'd be a problem in making that available to them as a voluntary option.
Bring the light of the Emperor!
I'd like to briefly explain my thinking behind it.
Come and face your death!
If I may.
Try and keep it short, but okay.
So you join up, there's this guild or clan or whatever. They seem to be doing well, or you think that joining them will make you win more, do better. You stay on, but you don't get any training, you don't get anything except a lot of guys screaming in Discord when we play. And after a week or two you think, this is fucking gay, fuck this, and you leave to go somewhere else. That's, I've seen it happen other places, I don't want it to happen here. Thank you.
Okay. Received. Deviant, if you have real world issues to go to, it's fine. Right now is the Q&A section. I really wanted to get across, has been said, but you're fine. Dantanius, and if anyone shares Dantanius' thoughts, this is also kind of what this purge is supposed to do. It's supposed to take care of those people that the majority doesn't want, as well as hopefully remind people that this should be a civil place among all things. And as much as we all can appreciate our certain brand of cancer, I think it goes without saying that it should all be within moderation. And when participating members in the chats are willing. Scrolling back up. For Sigismund Kresh, the new rank layout, not sure. But whatever it will be, it'll happen tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest. NERP, as far as things that were to be done, was, when I said that I was talking about well, what we've already done was the kicking, the first round of kicking. What needs to be done now is officially dissolve the Senate for fallen wardens, and will be for it to run their course. And for me to talk to the people I haven't talked to in a while, and hopefully welcome them back. Hall of Records completion, for those of you wondering, and Drunk, correct me if I'm wrong in a private message, but we actually have a lore I have myself a vault of all of AEON's documents, which I've written a shit ton, and it's like about 28 separate documents with almost pretty much 150 pages total. So that'll be released soon, and I probably should have done it a while ago, but it's incomplete. Narcissian for female members. In a word, mistreated. I would have expected more from a lot of people here to not be insensitive, because surprisingly, fun fact, a lot of you can be when it comes to interact with girls, and whether it's the individual's lack of social experience or otherwise, when in doubt, be polite. That's what I'll say to everyone here.
Well, none of us had a girlfriend, so it's easy to explain.
Akinroth, speak for yourself.
Look, yeah,
That'll happen once you walk, bro.
Yeah, I'll say that as well. Speak for yourself there, pal.
No,
Everyone.
I know, you're playing a better crusade.
Straight speak.
thank you, Husseini's. In any case, this isn't an issue of who's got a girlfriend or not. It's about properly treating someone, regardless of sex.
Running low.
And if you guys can't handle that, then maybe you don't have any business being here. I'm not saying that to anyone individually, I'm saying that to all of you.
Requesting resupply.
Alright? Engine of War. What other games have been considered? EC actually is having a resurgence. They started back with their with the weekly campaigns with RTC giveouts, and the activity spike has been constant. There hasn't been a minimum of 300, 400, 500 players versus the lows being in the 50s for the past week. And if they continue on that route, which they are doing, I would say that EC, at least for now, is going to see a stable player rate. As far as other games, we had the poll and announcements. As far as the MMOs went, there seems to be a tie between Guild Wars 2 and Neverwinter. Dark and Light, Black Desert Online, Elder Scrolls Online, sorry, not going to happen. But the one issue that we've come across, Empyrean is also another game we're looking at. For those of you willing to like space builders, I do. I'm probably be picking up when I get a chance.
Straight, just a second. If you will have time after this meeting, will you be able to give me a few minutes? Me and Lockhart.
That's fine, Akinroth. I'll be more than happy to talk to you. Neverwinter and Guild Wars 2, the only problem we've encountered is that I don't think anyone stepped up to lead this. Gray wanted to do Neverwinter, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gray, but he's prepping for Star Citizen, which I'm 100% behind him for. Guild Wars 2 I can probably take care of if we start there, but we'll leave that one up to a popular vote as well. So hopefully that answers that. Moving on, are we going to use the UAT as training grounds? I don't know about and for those of you wondering what the UAT is the beta servers for EC. And the beta servers for EC, we actually have a moderator in AEON. He's not here right now, but we have an EC moderator in AEON, and he's...
Wait, are we supposed to tell them who is actually...
Yeah, it's J-Break, but he's not in here right now.
But he's not moderator, he's actually Q&A developer.
Which is even better, but he has moderator privileges.
Yeah.
So yeah, he works behavior, he's part of AEON, and he's been helping us on a lot of things. As far as using the UAT as training grounds, go for it. I don't have any experience. Maybe we should bring him in to talk about this.
I have.
And Akinroth does too. Recruitment guidelines. So, okay. Recruitment guidelines, anyone can recruit. Anyone can bring anyone in AEON as an initiate. The real test, as many of you know, is Battle Brother, where the first requirement is getting to know the other Battle Brothers, and the second is the hidden requirement, which all Battle Brothers know. And speaking of Battle Brothers, I just want to reiterate something that maybe hasn't been made clear, is the difference between Night Brother and Battle Brother. In terms of community standing, there is no difference between Battle Brother and Night Brother. The only difference between a Night Brother and a Battle Brother is that a Night Brother is hella good at whatever game he's a Night Brother in, or she. Every Night Brother in EC can average 30 plus kills, if needed. And each one has, on at least multiple occasions, scored 40 kills. Anyone can take the Night Brother challenge, it's just taking screenshots within a 48-hour period. But there's no community social standing.
Sorry for interrupting again. We will need to develop a way for people from other games to get Night Brother 2 and Night Brother challenges for them.
Agreed. Something to be worked on ASAP, actually. Moving on. UAT, where was I? I lost where I was.
Real Angel wrote, "What will our recruitment guidelines be?" That's
Thank you very much. Deegan had to leave. Yoshi's talking about that. So, if there's enough people in any game that want to formalize us pulling our resources and officially starting something in another game, we can, right? Just, if you group up, get 5, 10, 15 people to back a game's decision, will help and facilitate the creation of a guild in any game. For those of you who play Warframe, side note, we do have a guild on there. It's called Scholars of the Void. We are waiting to open it up for one reason. If you guys didn't know, clans in Warframe, you can build and research weapons that are exclusive to the guild dojos. But as more people join, the costs for researching that triples, and then times 10. And once you hit the max rank member cap of a clan, it's times 1,000 for the research costs. So we're trying to finish all the researches before we open it up, because otherwise it's going to get hella expensive and we're not going to be able to get it. So some patience would be appreciated, and people who want to contribute forma or whatnot would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Gray. We're roughly at 80% on the with all the research. We're just finishing up the Dragon mods and the last few of the Warframes and a few final weapons. Those of you who haven't voted on Guild Wars 2 and Neverwinter, or would prefer another game, please feel free. Coming of PlanetSide 2. Same thing. If enough people want it, just tag it in Brotherhood General. Leave a single emoji per game, same way we did in the announcements for voting. And we can start a game like that.
Tend my wounds.
Yeah. Jolio, could you please discuss the bot?
Thank you, brother.
Alright, so the bot, I'm going to clarify this to everyone, it is under process, it's actually done. The only problem is that I'm going to have to set up probably permissions,
Brother.
because, I mean, I know a lot of people here are going to go crazy with the bot, and I do not want overloading. That is a very major problem with this kind of bot, is that it can overload. But the nice thing about it is that you don't have to worry about searching a YouTube video for it. You can literally type the name of the song, and it'll find it immediately, and play it at the highest HD quality, which is 720p.
For those of you wondering, we aren't just doing a random bot. Jolio coded this from scratch.
Yep, made the whole thing myself. That's why I'm saying I don't want this to overload, because personally, I don't want my own computer to overload.
So, yeah. We will most likely maybe making not just one, but two channels with 2 copies of the bot, so that way people can have different soundtracks, because with the fucking What I Purged to, it's half metal in there, so
Yeah.
y'all know it's gonna be, one of them is gonna be a metal room. For Zendrick, Yeah, of course we can still participate. You don't need to be in a. The only thing we would really appreciate for membership are the games we're officially in, right? But no, we're not like you're in AEON, you have to be in AEON or nothing at all, right? No, any games that we don't play like officially, yeah, feel free to do whatever you want. EVE Online, Warframe. Warframe's a pastime game anyway. The only clan events on Warframe are the ones that contest solar rails, and we will never get to that point of being able to contest those. So yeah. And to answer Engine, what is wrong with metal? Let me Google that and tell you the millions of results that come up. But to answer the individual questions that have been supplied to me, yeah. Does anyone else have any other questions that they would like to discuss?
Will we add ADADOP to this chat?
Yes, JBreg will officially be coming to the Discord. He was taking care of a few loose ends on his end, since he's in a mod Discord and he wanted to be respectful. But,
Also, can I ask not to harass him like you did with our female characters? He's not female, but I know that you will be asking him for shit.
So yeah, JBreg, aside from him being a great guy, he's also a QA behavior developer for QA developer for behavior, which is one of the games that codes EC. And having him with us is a huge pro for what we can do, and us being able to talk to people like Katie Fleming. Because yeah, I was able to do that. Fun fact. So yeah, try not to harass him, but welcome him all the same. Drugs, you have a question? And then Mocha, if you have a question. Drugs, please try and keep this serious. I love you, and you know you're freaking no homo, only a little. You know that.
Full homo.
Yeah, but yeah, let's try and keep this serious, please. Mocha, if you have a question for me that you don't want to ask in public, or that you would like to message me privately and address the answer in public, I can do that. It's up to you. Hysenius, what's your question? Right, so one thing I probably should have made clear is they use the TeamSpeak. The Armor Group uses the TeamSpeak because they have a custom mod for the server, which lets them use the in-game radios. And those radios, let's just say it benefits gameplay for roleplay purposes, but to use it they have to be on the TeamSpeak, which is why they're on there all the time. So yeah, it's not all hate and shit, but still, they have their reason for doing it.
Almost at the wolf time.
So yeah, Mocha, if you would like to, it's up to you whether you want to send me the message in private and have me address it in public, address it in private, or if you feel comfortable asking it publicly if it involves everyone.
Stop your lazing!
Yeah. And a certain someone made a good point. For the record, they only need to be connected to TS. They can mute themselves here. Wink, wink. I was sent that by someone right now, so I'll adjust that now.
Can I just say one thing about that?
Yeah.
The only reason I don't do that is because it fucks with my head when I have multiple voices coming from, different things. And plus it lags out my TeamSpeak when I'm on Discord at the same time.
Okay.
That's the only reason I don't do it anymore.
Alright. That, which is completely valid, right? But I think right now is my way of saying let's try and make an effort for you guys. If hopefully you guys can do the same. If that's fair. But you are completely valid in that reasoning.
Again, I have nothing wrong with you guys. I hope you realize that. I haven't been shunning you guys out. If I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't still be here.
There you go. Well said. So, RP chat, which is a question that is RP. RP chat was, or is technically at the moment, something used by the Fallen Wardens as one of the chats they had that they really enjoyed. And one thing they asked for was to keep an RP chat here in AEON. So the RP chat is for role-playing, right, text-based. Please keep it roleplay. If any, the one thing I'm gonna ask everyone here is just don't cloud that, right? And if you are going to cloud that, be in character, but preferably don't. Like that, drugs typed in a question, right? Roleplay. Roleplay. And use italics if you can to make it obvious. So there's that. Mocha, yes, feel free. There's no problem. Reason why the Mocha Accords got taken down was the lack of posting. Simply put. Yeah, any chat that's active stays. Speaking of chats that are coming down, game board's coming down. Not to say that it wasn't good intentions, but Augurius doesn't update it anymore, and there's a lot of people at this point whose preferences and things change. Yeah. So that's coming down. Grand companies are coming down. And the Hall of Initiates doesn't get used either. So that will probably be coming down as well. If Initiates really have any pressing questions, they can just tag people in general to ask. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're getting rid of 5. Minimum. So yeah, as far as Seabass brought up a wonderful point, and please keep questions channels to questions, not discussions. Roleplay, if anyone does D&D for Rogue Trader or Black Crusade or Dark Heresy or Only War, I think that would be a wonderful initiative to take. If we can find any people willing to want to try that or want to play a game of that, that'd be wonderful. I don't think you'll find any shortage of people not willing to do it, or at least take part in a campaign or two. Ava 01, doing better. I have myself a fine selection of pills to choose from on a daily basis. But so far so good.
We exist to serve.
And Akenroth, maybe not like the Magic Girls hockey. For those of you who remember it,
Wrath of the space.
that has been redacted by the Inquisition in all of our memories. For those of you who know about it, don't worry about it. Who don't know about it, don't worry about it.
Better don't. To political town.
Slash may have been involved.
I'm curious now.
What question?
Hopefully I have an answer for you.
Shield of
Are we
deliverance.
down here?
Unless anyone has any other pressing questions, I think we are. So, everyone, thank you for coming. And if I can close off on something, remember the war cry. Not just the words, but what it means. Because it seems like, it honestly seems like some of us has forgotten why
I
those
actually
words.
never knew.
It's
I found it.
talking
Stop
about
interrupting him!
Archmagos. I'm talking to the Battle Brothers here. But to the Battle Brothers, don't forget. Just it's a standard. A standard all of you passed when you became Battle Brothers. Some of you are blurring the line. And that's not a good thing.
Place will fall into compliance.
So yeah. For our brothers, our faith, our sins, and our justice. Don't forget them. Meeting over.
Okay, what you should have done instead of saying that is
Archmagos.
you should have had everyone recite it before you did that.
Now everyone has to leave. I'm killing myself! I'm killing myself!